What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Dario. This channel is called 5.2 liter, and in today's video, as you can see from the video description, this is going to be a very special review of a very special vehicle. But without further ado, I'll show you the vehicle, and yeah, I'm just so freaking stoked, I'm telling you guys. All right, and you can see the vehicle behind me. It is a F-150. And as you can see, it's a single cab, regular cab, whatever you want to call it, but there is a lot of aftermarket things on there. So let's go and review the exterior of the truck. And the first thing that stands out on this truck is obviously it is lowered. We have a Right-Tech lowering kit, 3 inches in the front, 5 inches in the back, perfectly matched with some Vossen 22-inch wheels in the front and also 22 inches in the back. They are wrapped in some Nittos. They are NT 420s, and I think they are 305s in the back and in the front. The next thing that stands out, obviously, very bright red right there. We have some Willwood brakes. So I love that TC Customs actually did that, because a lot of times people are neglecting the fact that, you know, stock brakes aren't always the best. So really liking that feature, and it just stands out. Next up, what can we see from the exterior? Obviously we got some tinted windows. We got also special on this, we have some paint matched mirrors. Also the front bumper usually does not come painted, so TC Customs did that. Absolutely like those little features that they add, like, you know, this little plastic trim piece right here, TC Customs. It does not say XL anymore, because that's what this truck originally was. It's a F-150 XL. But TC Customs is smart enough. They say, okay, well, we'll throw a lot of our things on there just to make this truck better than an actual just XL work truck. And I think that's why TC Customs has so much success in this business. They're customizing whatever the people want, and they're not just, you know, slapping it in your face. Okay, well, if you want all-wheel drive, you have to go with this and this option. No, you don't. You don't. You can choose what you want. And talking about what you want, the exhaust is definitely something that you want. These side pipes, I think they look absolutely phenomenal, and they sound even better. I absolutely love that the sound just comes out the side. So, you know, as you roll down that window, you just crack it a little bit and you hear all that exhaust coming out from the right side. Absolutely love it, and it just sounds so good. This specific one is from MBRP, and obviously you'll get a sound check in a minute, but absolutely love the looks of it coming out right in front of those Vossen wheels. Really cool. This specific truck is also a 4x4, if you didn't notice it so far. But yeah, what else we got customized here? Obviously we got this bed cover. Really like that feature. If you have a single cab especially, you don't have that much room in the cabin, so you'll probably want to have a lot of storage in here. So if you want to cover that so stuff doesn't fly out the back, obviously very helpful. Then next up, we got a TC Customs logo right here. We, you know, got the license plate cover whatsoever. I think the rear looks really good with that lower look. So you might be wondering what specific color this is, because we have not covered this, and it might look like it's actually black, because if you go far enough back in the shade, it definitely does look black. If you get a little bit of sunlight, you will notice that this is actually blue, and this blue is called antimatter blue, and I think it's super sick. I love a black truck. I love black cars. I love, you know, I just love black vehicles. They're absolutely phenomenal when they're clean. But this color, you know, gives you this very similar effect, but it is a really cool blue, and in the sunlight it gives you more color and it pops a little bit more than black. And I think with those black wheels and the red calipers, it just looks so freaking good. If you can't tell, I'm absolutely in love with this truck. I think that's it for the exterior. Obviously We also do have the TC Customs windshield banner. That's obviously also optional. But yeah, now let's talk numbers. This truck is a 5.0, so it's got the Coyote engine in it, 400 horsepower. But this specific truck is on the sleeper program. So the sleeper program, even though this truck does not look very much like a sleeper, it is not very, it's not an understatement, let's call it that. Because with those big wheels, with the exhaust, with that brake, you know, the lowering kit and everything, it definitely does not look like a sleeper. But you can order this. You can order this, a 5.0, stock everything, stock wheels, stock suspension, what you want, and you know, it's gonna be a sleeper. But let's get into why this is actually called a sleeper, because that's under the hood. The explanation for why this is called a sleeper is right here. Oh, and also let's not forget about that illuminated Ford sign right here. Looks absolutely crazy. That is a really, really cool feature in my opinion that is also added aftermarket from TC Customs. And here we have it. We have the 5.0, but there's a little something sitting on here. That's a Roush Supercharger. And you can see this beautiful intake box, cold air intake, enclosed box so it doesn't heat soak. And yeah, this beautiful puppy right here. Oh man, I'll give you a little bit of a taste in a second, but just look at how beautiful this looks. But yeah, as I said, sleeper program. This Coyote is usually putting out around 400 horsepower. With that supercharger on top of that, it's making 705 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right. 705 horsepower in a single cap. That, my friends, is a fast truck. If you look at this, there's not much to it. Obviously, yeah, it's got all-wheel drive. Yes, there is definitely some weight to this, but it is not very heavy, and 705 horsepower to the rear wheels. You can obviously set it to all-wheel drive, but to the rear wheels, it's gonna move, and it will break loose on you, so be careful. But let's go ahead and get this started so we can hear that engine. Built tough. Doesn't get any better than this. The truck's already warmed up, so this is as much idle as we are going to get. I'm telling you, a cold start on this thing is very, very loud. Don't underestimate it from just this video. I'll give you a couple revs here in a second. Obviously, we still have the driving, the POV driving video coming up, so stay tuned for that. But just so you get an idea, let's give this a couple of revs here. I hope the camera picked that up pretty good, but I think that sounds pretty nasty. And I'm telling you, especially under load, when you drive it and you're getting into more of the boost, the higher PSI, it is screaming like the devil. It is a sound that is hard to mimic or hard to imagine. You just gotta hear it in person. It's different. It is amazing. So before we get kicked out of this parking lot, because I've been revving the engine and driving back and forth, we should definitely go and test the theory and go hit the road. All right, guys, as you can see, We are now inside of the F-150 Sleeper from TC Customs, and yeah, from the first look, it's really not that special. It's a regular F-150. There's not too much going on. I actually do like this interior quite a bit. I don't think there's too many changes between the different option packages that you have when buying an F-150. Obviously, yes, you do not get the automated climate systems, you don't get all the fancy bells and whistles that come with the higher trim packages, and I am by no means an expert on F-150 trim packages, so I'll take all of this with a grain of salt, but in general I do like this interior quite a lot. And let's talk about what TC Customs has done differently on this. We have some aftermarket seats, or at least seat covers. These are leather seat covers. They are actually heated, so I don't think that's a regular option on the XL. I would have to also check that out. But in general, yeah, it's very basic. You get all the information here. The screens, I think, are always the same, so nothing crazy going on here. We can adjust from two-wheel drive, so we have rear-wheel drive, to actual four-wheel drive. We just have a low and a high setting. I think the power distribution is just 50-50, so there's not crazy adjustabilities. We do have different driving modes for if you want to haul stuff, if you want to just, you know, drive in eco mode, which I don't think will do much in this kind of car. But we have the sport mode, which I do like the design the best, and I also like the shift patterns that the automatic transmission goes through. It's just a little bit more sporty, and I think the steering wheel is a little bit yeah, a little bit more sporty from the feel. It has a little bit more resistance to it, and I think it just reacts a little bit more to what you're doing. At least it just feels a little bit more sporty to drive in this mode. And unless I'm just trying to cruise on the highway, I usually put it in sport mode so far. Other than that, yeah, we got power windows. We don't have to roll them down. It's not that basic, but yeah, there's not too much going on in this interior. However, I really don't mind it. I do like that it's just rigid, it's just raw, it's fairly basic but yet comfortable. Other than that, from the drivability of this car or this truck, I really enjoy it so far. You can probably hear the exhaust notes a little bit already, but it's just a really nice driving truck. Automatic transmission, I haven't had any issues with it misshifting, with it just feeling off. I think it's very comfortable to drive. It's super smooth, and if you're just cruising, you hear that 5.0 with the MBRP exhaust, and it just sounds really good. But as soon as you step on it a little bit, you will hear in a minute when that supercharger pushes more air into the engine and ultimately out of the exhaust. It sounds completely different. And when I say that, I really mean different. When this truck here moves out of the way, I'll step on it a little bit and you'll probably hear what I'm talking about. It is stupid. It sounds like the devil himself is just screaming out of that exhaust. It is a mixture of just, you know, that 5.0 singing and then just pressured air just being forced out of that exhaust. It just, there's nothing like it. And I have to be honest with you guys, I have not driven a boosted 5.0 before, so I can't really compare it to anything like a Roush Supercharged GT or something. So this is just my honest and raw feedback from, you know, driving this for the first time. But in terms of drivability, in terms of how, you know, the power gets onto the road, it just feels really good. It feels comfortable, super smooth, and I did the test this morning because the other day I was, you know, pushing it a little bit more, and I got about 10 miles to the gallon. And yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. So I was like, well, 10 miles to the gallon is really not that good. But I was driving mostly, you know, like in town and lower speeds. I wasn't going much highway, and I was, you know, testing the car out a little bit. I wasn't fully gunning it, but 10 miles to the gallon is just, whatever you do, sounds like a lot of fuel running through this engine. So long story short, I tried this morning to just drive it a little bit slower, not really, you know, trying to get the best gas mileage, because I probably could have gotten better gas mileage. I still had my fun with it, but I was driving mostly highway. I was going, you know, 70 to 80 miles an hour and not doing anything stupid with it, and I got around 16 and a half miles to the gallon, which really is not bad if you consider that this is a 705 horsepower Roush Supercharged 5.0. 16 and a half miles to the gallon. That's about what I get with my GT on my regular drive. And you know, I drive mostly back roads. This is kind of the way that I usually go to work and back. So this is really not bad for, you know, a full-size truck. You gotta take into consideration it's a regular cab. Yes, it's definitely lighter than the full-size crew cab, but it is a truck. It's not a car. This thing can haul a lot, and for that, you know, 16 and a half really is not bad. And I promise you, and maybe I'll do the test where I'll, you know, just stay off the gas the whole time. Nobody wants to drive like that, but I just want to see if I can break like 17, 18 miles to the gallon on a full drive. That would be interesting, but that's not what we're here for, because we want to see a sleeper and we want to see what this thing can do. But you know, somewhat economy, it's also important to not, you know, be getting 6 miles to the gallon every day if you want to daily this, which I assume most people would. It's definitely doable. I would say so. I would daily this. The only thing that, for me personally, I would get the crew cab, because we are expecting we're expecting a little girl, and I want to be able to take her in my daily driver. So, and also with the dog, I think it's just better to have more space. So I personally would opt for the crew cab. If this wasn't my daily driver, then I would definitely get the single cab, the regular cab, because just the way it looks, I just love the looks, and obviously it weighs less, so why not? This is insane, guys. You have no idea what this sounds like. I hope that the camera picks this up somewhat, but it's absolutely insane. And you have to take into consideration that currently my windows are shut. I will roll down one of the windows a little bit because it has side pipes on the right side, and all of the sound is coming from over there because the exhaust is obviously there. And if you roll down, if you just crack the right window, it just sounds absolutely insane. And when I say that, I actually mean it. So let's get to the drivability of this. Obviously, from the previous video that I showed you guys, this is lowered. So this has the Ritec lowering kit. I believe it's 3 inches in the front, 5 inches in the back. So it is quite low, but you know, we're driving a couple turns here on this short little drive, and I'm telling you, this feels really solid. I've driven trucks before. I've driven lifted regular trucks, and I've driven lowered trucks, and this just handles absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, yes, the comfort side goes down a little bit, I would say, because you will feel bumps a little bit more. It also doesn't help that we are on these huge Boston wheels that just look absolutely phenomenal, but they also have less rubber on them than, you know, some other wheels. So Yes, you will feel a difference, but it is to an extent where I would say I'd prefer it, because I like a sporty feel on a truck, because obviously I have 2 Mustangs. I love, you know, having the feedback of the road and knowing, you know, what I'm driving over, and just sorry guys, I just had to. But I just love to get that feedback. I love to have the feel in the steering wheel. I love to just feel like I'm driving the car. If it's just floating over everything, it is nice, it's comfortable, but that's not me. I like to have this very, very rigid feeling and just getting a feedback, if that makes sense. Other than that, what else? I think, you know, we went over how does it ride, how does it sound. The engine performs phenomenal. The transmission, I think, is really, really good. It's that 10-speed transmission. No complaints so far. I've driven F-150s before where I felt like they were shifting in the wrong spots. I felt like it just wasn't perfectly set up, if that makes sense. But this just, everything feels right. Everything so far, no issues. I have not switched it into all-wheel drive. I have just been going in rear-wheel drive because I just like the feel of it. I like the response of it. In my honest opinion, this truck is the real deal. And before I forget it, this is, I believe, one of the first trucks that TC Customs has equipped with the Wilwood brake package. Wilwood brakes, if you are not familiar with them, they make amazing, really, really great brake packages. They are comparable to names like Brembo. Yeah, I mean, these brakes will stop you. I'm not gonna go 100% here because there's other people on this road, but these brakes definitely grip. It's not like, you know, it doesn't get shaky or anything. It's not like, oh, this, I don't know if I can stop with this really heavy truck or, you know, anything like that. No, they feel very, very solid, and they give you a lot of confidence in driving this, because a lot of people upgrade their engines, a lot of people upgrade, you know, to superchargers, turbos, whatsoever, but most people don't think about the brakes. And if you drive this thing and you want to drive it hard and you want to drive it on back roads and you want to be able to also make it stop, you want to go really fast, but you want to also stop really fast, because I think it's the worst combination if you have something that is really, really fast and you can't make it stop. This thing is just different. It's on a different level. TC Customs definitely has done something really, really cool with this. Before we end the video, I want to give a huge shout out to Town & Country. They were kind enough to borrow this vehicle to me for a full week, and it's been a blast so far. I still have a few days to go, so I am super, super stoked to be getting the chance to get to drive a sleeper truck. It's been a dream of mine, so thank you so much, Town & Country. Thank you, Mitchell Watts, especially, because you're the guy that makes all of this possible. I am super, super happy. And, you know, if you know me, I make reviews about things that I care about. I am not sponsored by them. I'm not paid to say anything positive. I could just drive this truck for the week and just be quiet about it. But I care about it, and I absolutely love it. So my review on this is, you know, I would love to have a rear bench personally, but other than that, this thing is a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. It's been super fun. This is dangerous territory, I'm telling you. This is very, very dangerous territory. If you drive one of these things, you will want one, and that's a problem. Unless you're rich and you can just buy whatever you want to, which I'm not. So, yeah. Now I'm just gonna go home and rethink life so I can make more money so I can buy one of these. Really, really appreciate you guys. Please, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. More to come. I'm definitely eager to post more. And yeah, that's ultimately the goal. post more content, connect with more people, and, you know, just keep you guys informed. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay loud.